There's so many things in these videos that I don't get to put in. Some of it's just for time constraints, some of it's because I ramble, some of it's because I'm not sure if my conclusions are... I'm never sure if my conclusions are right, but I'm not confident enough in my conclusions, or the implications of me being wrong are severe, so I don't include them. But sometimes it's just funny stuff too that I think is amusing, like the fact that I'm pretty sure McArthur Wheeler lived alone, because if you look at the story of how this all happened, and I worked as a bartender for a long time, and so having somebody just egging on their jackass tipsy friend at the bar is something I've seen a million times. That idea of like, hey man, how do I do this thing? Oh no, stick lemons in your eyes. Totally, I'm gonna watch this. That's just the thing I've seen a lot. People are ruthless to their friends. So I'm pretty sure that's how that happened. But when the guy went home, when McArthur Wheeler went home, he decided he was gonna try it out for himself, and he put the lemon juice on his face and then took a Polaroid. Now, it's not clear whether the Polaroid was like fuzzy, or if it just showed noise, or if it just showed a blank wall. Two things. One, if it just showed a blank wall, it either means that McArthur Wheeler put lemon juice over his whole self and then decided to take that Polaroid naked, or he just didn't make the connection of, I put lemon juice on my face and it not only hid my face, my clothes were gone. If he made that second logical leap, that, oh my God, I've figured out a cloaking device that's available at every grocery store in the country. If he'd had a roommate, the first thing he would have done is yell at them, Carl, get in here! You gotta see this! Can you see me? He'd have been running around like a moron. I mean, how excited would you be if you found out? It's like learning you could fly or something. I have the secret to making myself invisible. Check this out. You'd tell somebody, which means that I don't think McArthur Wheeler really knew anybody to tell. Which is rough. Anybody that he would have told, unless maybe his friend who convinced him to put lemon juice in his eyeball, they would have been like, of course I can sue you, stupid. Jesus. Lived alone, for sure. I tried to find out where McArthur Wheeler is now, and I was not successful. He might be in jail, he might be dead, I have no idea. I hope they changed his... No, they didn't. Actually, I know they didn't change his name, because that's the name in the news article as well. Somewhere out there's a guy who's lived an experience that is the closest thing that I can imagine to... If you looked up stupid in the dictionary, you'd have your face next to it, which actually might explain why that person would own an illustrated dictionary. But anyway, this guy did something so monumentally dumb, and criminals, you can go anywhere and look up stupid criminal antics. They say criminals are stupid, but sample bias. We're judging criminals by the ones who get caught. This idea is so fundamentally flawed that I think McArthur Wheeler would have achieved local legend status no matter what happened. But then the story gets picked up by a couple of researchers, and that catapults this poor guy from the local cautionary tale of just head-slapping stupidity to the icon, the paragon, the picture next to the entry in the encyclopedia of, look at the things that people who don't know what they're doing do. Anyway, wherever you are out there, McArthur Wheeler, I salute you. The Dunning-Kruger Effect, I think, needs to be narrowed down. Everybody thinks that they're more competent than they really are, both in terms of skill level, but more so in terms of how they rank in the group. It's those special people at like the 13th percentile who are most wrong are also... So therefore they're the most overconfident, which is sort of a mathematical certainty. The only place they can really guess is up. But in the repeated, more recent studies, they're also the people who are shown to be most resistant to self-investigating and teaching themselves new skills, but also the most defensive when given critiques. There was a study about emotional intelligence. A bunch of executives were brought in, and everyone was given critiques, and the people who scored the worst were also the ones who immediately moved to invalidate the critique or blame it on something else. Either my lack of emotional intelligence doesn't matter to my job, so why are we talking about it? Or who the fuck are you to judge me? Or that's not my fault that there was a pigeon hit the window. Whatever it was, they either deflected or invalidated or blamed something else. And trying to get them to seek further training was just difficult, and they offered. paradoxically, the people who had the best scores were also, even though they scored the best, were most likely to go, oh, more training? Neat. That sounds good. How can I get better? What I think is happening here is, I think this is related to the phenomena where experts undervalue or underestimate themselves in terms of the group. There's this kind of myth, well, I think it's a myth. There's this idea, the curve expresses an idea that expertise in an area brings humility. I don't know. I don't think it does. I think what's actually happening there is the training that these people have undergone is not connected to who they think they are. They don't have to be excellent at it, or it's no longer a question. Hey, are you good at this thing? Yeah, I'm good. How good? Good enough. If you take something like an artistic skill that's open to debate, like humor or writing or something. I used to go to writers groups in Portland. One of the things I found, and it's a general advice to any artist, that I've heard it over and over again, the way that you get better is to surround yourself by people who are better than you. If you are successful in doing that, the general level of skill in that room is going to go up, by which I mean the average shifts upward. If you're basing your idea of where you rank in the group based on the group that you hang out with, you might never have been exposed to the truly incompetent. Or you might not think about it that hard. How do you rank in the group? I'm a little bit above average. Yeah, for this elite crowd. When they say 70th percentile, they might be somewhat in the 70th percentile in that group of experts. But compared to everyone else, they just blow them out of the water. What was really interesting with this video is going in, if you look at the Dunning-Kruger YouTube video, the top result on YouTube, got like 1.5 million views. Well done video. In terms of presentation, but it's all about the graph, and that tells such a compelling story. It's such a nice fairy tale. It seems like one of those things we want to believe, and believe it because we want to believe it. It says nice things about who we are as people and the control that we have over our own emotions and self-image and things. We're so good at lying to ourselves that we believe our own bullshit when it comes to whether or not we're lying to ourselves. That graph is everywhere on the internet. If you Google Dunning-Kruger on an image search, you just get page after page. And I did find one way down that was a blog post of this guy who was like, so this isn't right. So my idea that graph is not super applicable, at least I have one guy out there with a tiny blog who also arrived at that conclusion. Got that going for me, which is nice. Anyway, if you're new here and you haven't chatted with me before, or I haven't sent you a message, or you're not familiar with my delivery, welcome. Feel free to leave feedback, send me direct messages, whatever you want to do. Tell me what you want to see around here, how you might want to engage with everyone else, or be left alone, whatever. Just to all of you, again, thank you so much for being a part of this. I hope you liked the most recent video. The next one I'm thinking about doing is whether or not good old Elon Musk is going to become king of Mars. I've heard a rumor that the terms of service for Starlink internet service actually has a declaration that Mars is a free planet. And from the asteroid video, I started looking into what laws apply in space. And so it's time to kind of circle back around and finish that episode. It's kind of like the Wild West, but that also had a lot of laws that were ignored. And there's not a ton of regulation about outer space. There is some, but how the hell would you enforce it? So that'll be interesting to look into. I think that's going to be the next one. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Thanks for being a part of this. If you're new here, welcome. And there's more to come. So